Oh, yeah. Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars news? And today we got a big one, the Maul series. Sam Witwer himself has revealed so much about the plot of this upcoming series, and it's so close that we might be getting a teaser trailer in the next month. D23 is at the end of August, and we could be getting a Maul series trailer, but also a Mandalorian and Grogu teaser as well. And we got to talk about Princess Leia today. I know we never talk about the princess, but we got some crazy news about a possible Princess Leia project. Not that she'll be the focus of the project, but she could be in a project somewhere along the road, down the road, along the road. Maybe both work, but I don't know. Without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? So for all of you who were guessing for the 1,000 credits before the live stream, today my shirt is Darth Vader and Stormtroopers Beatles poster Star Wars edition. So if you got that right, I'll have to fact check in the chat. Somebody help me out on that if anybody guessed that correctly. And we'll give you guys the 1,000 credits that you deserve. But we got some craziness to talk about today. Sam Witwer talking about plot details for the Maul series, and we might be getting a trailer for this series a lot sooner than we once believed. D23 might be a huge event for Star Wars, and we'll talk about why that is in just a second. But before we do, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? WV Grad, what is up? Your pal Joe in the house. Rachel, how we doing? Carry on, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. Steve, what is up? Kyler in the building. Pam, what is up? Holly, how we doing? Droopy McCool is also in the house. That guy, that Dave that loves Star Wars, love the name. What's up, Dave? Sorry, Darth Plagueis lives. What is up? Nathan, how we doing? Tavari Tano in the house. Okay, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little,
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I think we got to start today with this whole Maul news. So this was a while ago, or not a while ago, but this was somewhat long ago in a galaxy far, far away, where Sam Witwer went on Katie Sackhoff's podcast talking a crazy amount about the plot of this Maul series. Now, we're going to get into it because there's a lot of concerns about the Darth Maul series and making him look like a good guy. The same problem that people had with the Book of Boba Fett show, making Boba Fett look like a hero when he's supposed to be a badass bounty hunter. But, you know, there's a whole, he died, came back to life, spent 5 years in the desert with Tuskens and became a family man. But that's besides the point. Darth Maul is supposed to remain evil because he's evil till the end when he dies on the sand dunes of Tatooine up against Obi-Wan Kenobi in one of the greatest lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars. But we got some plot details when it comes to Maul Shadow Lord. So first things first, tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Maul Shadow Lord? Tell me in the chat. And while we do that, hang on, no, this is going to be rid of that. Nope. Okay. That's better. Fixed it. Yeah. So we'll watch that clip in just a second, but tell me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. And while you do that, let me put up a poll in the chat, huh? Let's put up a poll in the chat. Which upcoming Star Wars project are you the most excited for? Okay? You have 4 options. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Maul Shadow Lord, which are the 2 projects we'll be talking about the most today. Shadow Lord. Ahsoka Season 2, which we won't really talk about today. We talked about it the entire stream yesterday. Thursday. Ahsoka Season 2 or other. Any of the other projects, whether it's Dawn of the Jedi or the Rey movie or Rebuild the Galaxy, Visions Volume 3, whatever that may be. Tell me in the chat. Let's put up that poll, and that poll will be up there for a while. But let's see where you guys are at on a scale of 1 to 10. 1, okay. 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10, 8, 10, 9, 10. Okay. A lot of 10s. 7, 10, 10, 10, 10, 7.5. A lot of very high expectations when it comes to Maul Shadowlord. Deservingly so. Darth Maul is a character that dies in The Phantom Menace, and somehow he returns, much like Palpatine. And yet, he dies in a very similar way to Palpatine, too. But fans don't have issues with Maul's return because it's done in a way that is perfect. Maul's return in the Clone Wars and his return in Rebels as well is one of the best for a character's arcs in Star Wars. His want for revenge for Obi-Wan is what keeps him alive, and he turns into a spider. And then he gets his metal legs and fights with his brother Savage, and they fight Palpatine, and then his brother dies, and he goes on this crazy arc. It's peak. His fight between him and Ahsoka on Mandalore in Season 7 in the greatest arc in the Clone Wars. Incredible. Comes back in Solo, makes an appearance as the leader of the Crimson Dawn. And then, of course, he meets his demise in Star Wars Rebels. But even in Star Wars Rebels, he's still a badass character. So we want more of that. That big time gap between Season 7 of the Clone Wars and where we see him in Rebels, the only bit of Maul we have in between those two time periods, which is about 15-ish years, give or take, is Solo. So what happens with Darth Maul? How does he become the ruler of the underworld? All those questions will be answered in this Maul series. That's why everybody's so excited for it. Now, we have some details, finally, about what this show might actually look like from Sam Witwer himself, the voice of Darth Maul. So throw in your crazy predictions, of course, what you think's going down in the Maul series in the chat. And let's take a look at what Sam Witwer himself had to say about it. All right, this was on the Katie Sackhoff podcast. Take a look at this.
With Maul,
Oh, that's too quiet.
I think people see him very much one way, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But there are glimpses of a deeper emotional humanity to Maul
Are there?
that
There are?
that I think.
Yes, absolutely there are. Yes.
So I mean,
you're totally sniffing.
I'll get to that super chat in a second. What they're talking about here is not that Maul is going to be a good guy. Mike, what's up? How we doing? There's just a humanity to him, okay? It's not that he's a good guy. It's not that he's a bad guy, but he's a good bad guy. Are you with me so far? Okay.
Stuff.
so
yeah.
is that something that we're going to see explored?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, because there were ideas that I had back in Clone Wars that I would present to Dave or even in Rebels. And Dave would say, and I also know things that Dave wanted to do. And Dave would go, we're not going to, no, I'm going to cut this part out of the script that I had that I like so much because this isn't Maul's show.
Not
or
yet.
I'd say, Dave, what if this happens? And he goes, it's not Maul's show. You can't go into that little level of detail. We're seeing this from Ezra's perspective or Ahsoka's perspective. And every time he said, this isn't Maul's show, it never occurred to me that Maul could have a show. So I just took those ideas. I'm like, well, I guess we'll never see that.
This is very similar to the character of I mean, in a way, of Cassian Andor. Because we just came off the backs of Season 2, it's the perfect example. Maul is a side character. He's a main character, but a side main character in the Clone Wars and in Star Wars Rebels. He's a very important character to the Star Wars timeline, but in those specific shows, it's Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan's show. It's Ezra, Kanan, Sabine, Hera. That's their show. And Maul's just a guest star, in a way. Now, Cassian is a main character of Rogue One. He's not the main character. That's Jyn Erso. So we're getting a full story about Cassian Andor in those two seasons of Andor. And that's the same thing we're getting here with Maul. Very, very similar. He's not the main character of those Clone Wars and Rebels shows, but he's a main character. And now he's getting his own show where he's going to be the main character. Are we going to focus entirely on Darth Maul this entire Maul series? No. Have you learned anything from Star Wars animation? There'll be arcs where Maul will be in it, but he won't be like the main person. We'll probably get bounty hunter arcs, probably with Cad Bane and Boba Fett. We'll get underworld arcs where we maybe get some Hutts stuff and Maul's not all that involved. We'll probably even get some Inquisitors and hopefully Darth Vader stuff in the Maul series where Maul's not all that involved. That's how great Star Wars animation is. You have so much time to give those arcs, whether they're filler arcs or very, very important arcs like the Mortis Gods. The Maul series will continue that. But yes, it's going to be about Darth Maul. He will be the main guy. But much like Cassian's the main guy in Andor, there are episodes where he's not even in it. And it's still really, really good. So that's what I think when he's talking about this. Maul's not the main character of Clone Wars or Rebels. Now he's getting his own show where we can really dive into who is this character. Same way we did with Andor in the Andor series.
And now he's like, well, it's Maul's show. So now I am invited to go to people and go, what about this? And they go, great. You're right. We should explore that. Oh, what about this? Yes, there's a place in this scene. We could throw a little thing here, you know. So that humanity thing that you're talking about in our show, what can I tell you? Well, I can tell you a few things. There's things that we said at Celebration. It truly is a show about bad guys versus worse guys. And our bad guys are still bad guys. Like, this isn't going to be a show where you go, oh, you find out Maul is just a real teddy bear, man. That guy, he just misunderstood. You have to understand, if you have coffee with him, he's really cool. We're not doing that.
So before they continue, this was the big concern for a lot of people. Having a animated show focused around a bad guy like Darth Maul has never happened. So how are you going to do an entire show focused on the bad guys and it still be a rewarding journey where people are going, oh yeah, that I'm rooting for these characters. How are you going to root for the bad guy? Now, maybe some of you crazy people in the chat are like, oh, I always root for the bad guys. Yeah, you're crazy, okay? But how are you going to make an entire show about the villains? That's very, very difficult to accomplish, and this is actually the first time they're ever going to try that. You could argue that the Acolyte's about the bad guys, but they focus a lot on the Jedi in that show too. I guess you could argue that, yeah, this is really the first time. So this is focusing on the bad guys. The show is called Maul Shadow Lord. It's going to be about Darth Maul. But what he says is it's really a show about bad guys and worse guys. Those worse guys being Palpatine and Vader. Meaning, Sam Witwer just confirmed to us right here, caught in 4K, maybe not 4K, but at least 1080, that only crazy nerds get that one, I guess, that we will be getting a lot of Palpatine, a lot of Vader, a lot of Inquisitors, a lot of the Empire in this show, because it's going to be Maul versus them. That's how this show works. Because yes, there'll be some Jedi that survived Order 66 that maybe pop into the show, like Asajj Ventress, or maybe Ahsoka, but I doubt it. Grogu, seriously doubt it, but even still, Keller and Beck, maybe. You have some Jedi characters who could appear, but those aren't going to be the main characters of the show. You're talking bad guys versus worse guys. That means a lot of Palpatine and a lot of Vader. A lot. And that's awesome. So no, Maul's not going to be a hero. He's not going to be the good guy. He's not going to be this redeeming quality character who you're going to root for and be like, yeah, he's a good guy now. No, he's going to remain evil. You're not going to want to have coffee with him, like Sam Witwer says, which is incredible. That's exactly what you want to hear with this show.
Who's your audience?
Well, the core fans are
of course
Star Wars fans. But the
who's your audience? Trekkies, Superman fans. You know those people who really like Diary of the Wimpy Kid movies? Those are our target audience. Star Wars fans, obviously.
The idea is, in fact, that even though he's a bad guy, the fun of it is going, right, but is he as bad as Sidious or Vader? And the answer is actually no.
Yeah.
From the Sith perspective, this guy has flaws. And these flaws are the things you're talking about, the humanity that seeps in at various points. And some of this is humanity he did not have maybe early in Clone Wars, but because of things that happened to him, he's rethought a lot of things. Like, for example, I'll just pose, this is a guy who knew that the Empire was coming, and he was part of that. But he was supposed to be the part of the Clone Wars. He was supposed to work with his master, and they were going to bring about the destruction of the Republic and the destruction of his hated enemy, the Jedi Order. He was raised to hate them. He does not, and he trained his whole life to destroy them. Well, now we have a show where, okay, all of that was done. But Maul, you killed a bunch of Jedi during the Clone Wars, but you did not work with Sidious. You didn't know the whole plan. And in fact, you got so scared about his plan that you tried to stop it at the last second.
He brings up a great point here. Maul's not a good guy, okay? We've gotten that covered. He's not a good guy. And I'll get to that membership in 1 second. But he does, in Clone Wars Season 7, try to team up with Ahsoka to stop Sidious, to stop Palpatine's plan of Order 66, to stop Anakin from falling to the dark side. Because he has that sort of humanity to his character. He has that. It's not that he's a good guy. It's not him doing it out of the kindness of his heart. It's he knows what Palpatine's plan was. He knows how horrible things were going to get for even himself. And he wanted to stop that. So now, in the aftermath of that, Order 66 being successful, Palpatine having taken control of the entire galaxy, what does Maul do? Well, we know for a fact that he brings at least a rise to power. He gets himself this big old chunk of the underworld and claims it to be his own. But what does he do with that? Is he actually going to go try to go for the head? Like Thor should have done in Infinity War? Is he actually going to chop the head off of the snake? The head being Palpatine, of course, if you didn't catch my drift. Is he going to try to kill Palpatine and Vader for that matter? He tries to with Ahsoka on Mandalore. Is he going to continue down that route? Because that would be pretty damn crazy. If his goal here is to train a Twi'lek apprentice that we see in the teaser trailer that was shown, and that is going to be Darth Talon, which is going to be insane. If his goal is to train that apprentice to be as powerful or at least compete with Palpatine and Vader, if his goal here is to build up a criminal underworld, an army, if you will, to compete with the Stormtroopers and the Inquisitors, it would be wild. We know a few things about Maul's journey. We know where it ends. And it ends, or at least this journey being a criminal underboss, it ends on Malachor 5. He goes to Malachor 5 in search of a weapon. He's there for the temple itself, because the temple, when given that Sith holocron, turns into a weapon. Why does he want that weapon? Why does he have no reinforcements with him? What happened to the Crimson Dawn? Where did they go? Those are the questions we need answered. But I think it's all just to kill Palpatine. I think he really wants to kill his former master. We have a few other time gaps in Maul's story. One of the biggest ones being when he gets captured by Palpatine. After his brother has died in this incredible, underrated lightsaber duel on Mandalore, Palpatine kills his brother and takes him alive as a prisoner. What happens in that prison? That's a big deal. Because whatever happened there, his mindset shifts drastically. He's no longer really fully fixed on Obi-Wan and revenge. Now, he wants to stop Palpatine from whatever the hell he's doing. So maybe he wants revenge for him too. But either way, what that looks like, how that plays out, how he ends up on Malachor 5 by himself, looking for a old ancient Sith weapon, is going to be insane. And that's what this Maul series is about. And that's what Sam Witwer is pretty much telling us here. Let me get to that super chat and membership before we keep going, because we're about halfway through that video. Hang on. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, wait, what? says, oh, we need a trailer ASAP for this show. I agree with that. And what about Leia? Oh, we'll get to the Leia stuff in a little bit. We'll get to the Leia stuff in just a little bit. But yes, when we're talking about a trailer for the Maul series, it might be sooner than you might expect. I'll leave you with that until we get to it. But I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here. And speaking of memberships, Master Beckham, Mr. Beckham is back. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Let's hit it. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Master Beckham at the master level. I appreciate that quite a bit. Yeah. Jacob, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. Erica, I'm doing good. How are you? It's good to be back. I know. This is our first full week after vacation. It's nice. Nice. It is nice. Yeah. Okay. But let's get back to this. Yeah, I don't know, Master Beckham. Sometimes it's weird, you know. When's the next giveaway? The next Oh, yeah, it's coming up, right? Next week. Yeah, indeed. All right, let's get back to this.
Now the Empire's here, which Maul would have known that was his master's intent. But now that he's seeing it, he's like, is this what he had in mind? Because this isn't what I thought it would be. This is a little scary. Like Maul is looking around going, this is, Maul comes from a time of swords and sorcery and magic and knights. And now all of that color is being sucked out of the universe by this mechanized empire. And Maul's like, is this right? Is this the universe that we were trying to build? And
it also becomes a little bit more boring when that's the universe that exists,
the Empire,
right?
Look at the Stormtrooper division in comparison to the clones. The clones learned under the Jedi to become their own people and stuff like that. But the Stormtroopers, when we ever performed them, and I've performed a lot of Stormtroopers over the years, we try to perform them all the same.
Yes.
They had this soulless, and they're always just sort of like this, and what if they're talking to each other? They're talking about some weird, mundane, mechanized stuff that their humanity and their individuality has been pulled away and sucked away by this empire.
It's pretty interesting because when you think about it, the Empire is all black and white, literally. The Stormtroopers' costumes, they're all just the colors of black and white. In a weird way, the prequel trilogy is so colorful and bright. The original trilogy is so dark and gloomy. Now, that's sort of because of the film at the time, I guess, but it still makes a lot of sense. And Maul, in all of this, visually, is a bright red character, training a bright red Twi'lek apprentice with these bright red Mandalorian armored Maul-Delorians. So visually, it's clear that Maul is an outcast. You got Palpatine, who's all gray, dull colors, in the black robes that he wears, and even Vader is all black suit. It's all just black and white. When it comes to Maul, he's a little lost. Because at some point, Darth Maul was supposed to be a part of this plan, Palpatine's apprentice. But along the lines, that plan shifted to a different apprentice. Anakin Skywalker, of course. But Sam Witwer, as per usual, hits the nail on the head.
So, you have a guy who comes from the time of magic, but times have changed. And
interesting, he brings up magic. Maul is from the planet of Dathomir. We know that Dathomir is going to be a huge planet in the near future for Star Wars, because that's where Grand Admiral Thrawn's going to be in the Mandoverse. And we've spent a lot of time on Dathomir in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, and Darth Maul just happens to be from there. And from what we know about the Maul series, Maul is going to go to a planet that is out of the reach of the Empire, possibly Dathomir, and that's where he sets up his camp. By the time of Solo, he tells Kira to meet him on Dathomir. So at least by the time of Solo, he is on Dathomir. But when he brings up magic in this way, not many Night Sisters survived the massacre on Dathomir when Grievous and the droids came in and the Separatists killed most of the Night Sisters. You have a few survivors like Asajj Ventress, like Merrin from Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. But Maul being on Dathomir and Sam Witwer bringing up the magic of it all, these projects are going to tie together. With Dave Filoni now being the CCO, you've already seen it, and you're going to see it a lot more in the future. All these different projects, although they take place 20, 30, 40 years apart, are going to be connected. So the Maul series will have tie-ins to the Mandoverse. Maybe it's Darth Talon, maybe it's Dathomir itself, whatever it may be. You already see it with the Bad Batch, introducing Mount Tantus, introducing Omega. Those things will be very important come the Mandoverse, come Grand Admiral Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. Because Mount Tantus is a very key part of that in Legends. So all these things are all interconnected. Even Andor, which seems so unconnected, has Easter eggs to Darth Maul, has mentions of the Rakatan Empire, which could be a connection to the Dawn of the Jedi. It's all connected. And the Maul series is going to be connected just as much as everything else. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
And then he was born and raised to destroy the Jedi, but now they're gone. And he's seeing the alternative and going, is this better? I'm not sure this is better, you know? And also, boy, how do I feel now that, you know, I'm the Joker and Batman's dead? What does that feel like?
Are there any good guys?
Interesting. I like the way he put that for a second. We're going to talk about good guys in the show, but he says, I'm the Joker, referring to Darth Maul. Darth Maul's the Joker and the Batman is dead. Batman being the Jedi. The Batman being Obi-Wan, because he thinks Obi-Wan's probably dead at this point. They're all gone. So now the new Batman, the new people hunting him down, the new people that are his enemy becomes Palpatine, Vader, Inquisitors. We know for a fact that Marok will be in this Maul series. He was in the teaser trailer shown at Star Wars Celebration. We know a bunch of other Inquisitors will be in it as well, because by the time of Rebels, when the Inquisitors are hunting down Maul, they call him this Shadow Lord. They call him this Shadow, and they're all scared of him because they know how powerful he is. Imagine how many Inquisitors Maul has killed throughout the years, Marok probably being one of them. So it'll be very, very interesting to see if Maul has just turned his sights from the Jedi to the new Jedi, who are just Inquisitors, Vader, and Palpatine. A new threat has arose in the galaxy. But yeah, the Joker to the Batman, that's pretty good. All right, now they're going to talk about good guys possibly being in the show. And tell me in the chat, who do you think could be in it? Are we talking like Asajj Ventress and her new apprentice that we saw in Tales of the Underworld? Could we see, I guess they're not good guys, but bounty hunters like Cad Bane, Boba Fett, etc. Maybe Quinlan Vos, the Hidden Path, stuff like that. Tell me in the chat. All right, let's take a look.
Is in it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of new characters in this show.
Oh,
so
wait. New characters? Hang on.
Joker and Batman's dead. What does that feel like?
Are there any good guys in it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of new characters in this show. So you have characters who are absolutely far more moral than Maul that get caught up in some stuff, sometimes, in fact, with him. And the interesting thing is, can they work together? How do they work together? Do they not? Do things go wrong? It's a very
interesting. Now, I can't help but notice, chat, off to the left on our screen, right over here, we got a Katie Sackhoff with hiding a grin on her face. He's coming across good people, good heroes. And can they work together? How do they work together? Seemingly to take down the Empire. Again, I look to this giant smirk on Katie Sackhoff's face because she's the voice of Bo-Katan. It's highly likely that Bo-Katan and some other Mandalorians, I'm sure, are involved in this as well. We talked about Ventress and the setup of her having that new apprentice in Tales of the Underworld. That's a possibility. Ventress and Maul have some sort of backstory together. Not the biggest one, but still some. So maybe there's a crossover there. Maul leaves Mandalore. He still has his Mandalorians. What's the? Oh, I'm blanking on the name. What's the girl with like the purple hair? She's a Mandalorian. People thought she was the armorer for a while, and she might still be the armorer. What the hell's her name, Chad? Oh, somebody help me out, please, in the chat. I can't think of it. But we know for a fact that she will be in this. So it's highly likely that a lot more Mandalorians will be in this as well. Bo-Katan being one of them, she would be a hero in trying to maybe work with Maul to reclaim Mandalore, maybe? At this point in time, who has the Darksaber? Is it Maul? No, because he doesn't have it at the end of Clone Wars. Who has the Darksaber right now, Jet? At the end of the Clone Wars, who is wielding it? No, not Shin Hati. I'm talking about the purple hair. Purple hair, Mandalorian. It's Clone Wars Season 7. Why the hell can I think of her name? Maul has the Darksaber right now? Why doesn't he use it for Ahsoka then? Are we sure about that, Chad? Isn't it on Dathomir? Yes, you're right. Oh, Rook Cast. Thank you, Kyler. Rook Cast. Thank you. Yeah, Rook Cast is the Mandalorian that we know for a fact will be in the show. The Darksaber is on Dathomir. Yeah, because it's on Dathomir at the time of Rebels. So Maul must have it. Okay. So maybe Bo-Katan comes to Maul, maybe looking for the Darksaber, maybe trying to go reclaim Mandalore. Because by the time of Rebels, there's an all-out civil war going on Mandalore because Bo-Katan and the others are trying to recapture their planet from the Empire. Or from the Imperial Mandalorians. Interesting. So Katie Sackhoff's smirk over here to the left is really giving it away, I think. These good guys that are in the Maul series that are trying to work with Maul, I think Bo-Katan will be one of them. Maybe Asajj Ventress being another. Possibly. Somebody brought up Shin Hati in the chat, and it made me think Baylan Skoll. What do you guys think the chances are that we see Baylan Skoll in this Maul series? Because Baylan is a brand new character from Ahsoka Season 1, a fan favorite character to say the least. And we've always been talking about seeing his backstory, his post-Order 66, how he survived, what happened to him, why is he the way that he is, how did he find Shin Hati, why is he this dark Jedi type character? Maybe it's Maul. Maybe Maul had some influence on the character of Baylan Skoll. Maybe when he comes out of Order 66, he was still a Jedi, and Darth Maul maybe planted a little, seeds in there, and it would be a Dathomir connection because he would be more in tune with the witches, have a connection to Morgan Elsbeth. Maybe Morgan Elsbeth is in this show. Huh. Interesting. Morgan Elsbeth is a witch. She's from Dathomir. She's a survivor of the massacre. So now we're talking about plenty of familiar faces. If you could see Baylan Skoll, if you could see Bo-Katan, Morgan Elsbeth, Asajj Ventress, all crossing paths, all Clone Wars characters and beyond characters, I guess, all crossing paths with Darth Maul in the underworld. Dathomir being, I guess, the main planet at this point in the timeline. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be awesome to see Baylan. It would be great because he needs a backstory, He needs that to happen. Oh, Honey Badger's figured it out. Let's hear it. Marok was brought back by Night Sisters. That's true, too. So Marok is brought back and working for Morgan Elsbeth. Oh, okay, so this is way more connected than we ever thought. By the time of Ahsoka, now I'm just thinking, think about this for a second, chat. Ahsoka Season 1 might be setting up the Maul series. And Ahsoka Season 1 came out 2 years ago. 3 years ago? No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So Dave Filoni for the last 2 years has been planning this. If the Maul series actually does have Baylan Skoll in it, actually does show Marok dying and then Morgan Elsbeth bringing him back to life to use him as a undead Night Sister lightsaber wielding badass character, that's setting up Ahsoka. So you're starting Ahsoka off with this mysterious character, with this mysterious everything, and then you're going back and finishing that story or telling the beginning of that story. How Morgan Elsbeth got all this power, how Morgan Elsbeth knows Baylan Skoll, how she has this Marok zombified Marok character by her side. Maul Shadow Lord might be the explanation for a lot of the question marks in Ahsoka Season 1. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Are there any other Jod Na Nawad? Interesting. If they wanted to do something really crazy, I don't know if that would work. I was going to say, because Jod, all we know about his backstory is that this female Force user found him and trained him for a little bit, and then she had to disappear or whatever. Or no, she died. She died. Interesting. Maybe. Oh, we got Honey Badger. Hang on. We got a membership here. Honey Badger. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome back to the people who love Star Wars, Honey Badger. I appreciate that quite a bit. Super Chats, memberships keep the lights on over here. So I appreciate that. It's always good to see OGs return. Darth Jar Jar? Doubt it. It would be funny, though, if they brought Jar Jar back. It would be funny. Yeah. Do you think they will include the Mortis gods in any way? In the Maul series? I don't think so. They definitely will be in Ahsoka Season 2. Now I'm starting to think that Ahsoka Season 2 and Maul Shadow Lord are going to be very, very connected. Although they take place like 20, 30 years apart, they're going to be very, very connected. The reason that they're both coming out in 2026 is because they are so connected. And that's pretty damn wild. That's wild. Okay. But let's finish this off, see how this ends.
And the interesting thing is, can they work together? How do they work together? Do they not? Do things go wrong? It's a very tension-filled story that we're telling.
Oh, so go watch you can watch the full interview there at Katie Sacker's podcast. So he's telling all the right things. This show sounds even better than I could have possibly imagined it. We had the concern of Maul turning into a good guy, not still being the badass that we know and love, and that's been thrown out the window. He says it's bad guys versus worse guys. How does Maul deal with Palpatine's plan now? Now that the Jedi are gone, now that the Batman to his Joker is gone, what happens? He comes across good guys, possibly Asajj Ventress, possibly Baylan Skoll, possibly Bo-Katan. How do those characters interact? Can they work together? Can they not work together? Is he going to try to take down Palpatine? Is he going to be hunted down by Inquisitors? Is he training Darth Talon while all of this is happening? Building an underworld empire while this is happening? This show sounds incredible! It sounds so damn good! God! So, now that we're all ridiculously hyped up, let's talk about a release date and a trailer drop. So, release date-wise, it's 2026. When in 2026? I think, personally, it will be before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And right now, the only thing that has a release date in 2026 is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It's going to come out on May 22nd, 2026. So I think it will be before May, meaning probably going to be January or February for a release beginning. Sam Witwer told us at Star Wars Celebration that they've been working on this for over a year. So it's already over about a year, give or take, maybe closer to a year and a half of work being done. So it should be ready by early 2026. So if I were a betting man, I would say probably January, February, at the latest March of next year, so that it comes out before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. because then we can get the Mandalorian and Grogu, which will set up Ahsoka Season 2, which will happen probably in August or maybe even later on in the year. I'm not too sure. So that's what I'm thinking in terms of release date for this Maul Shadow Lord series. But when we talk about a trailer, a teaser trailer that could come out for this series, I think it's very, very soon. So let's talk about this. Five updates for Star Wars Lucasfilm that Star Wars Lucasfilm might give fans at D23. So D23 is next month. Next month, Destination D23, a journey around the world of Disney, takes place from August 29th to 31st in Orlando, Florida. According to D23.com, this event is slated as the biggest Disney fan event of the year. We already got Star Wars Celebration. We already got a shit ton of announcements of Star Wars Celebration. And now, the rest of this year is kind of slow. Not going to sit here and lie to you guys. We do have Rebuild the Galaxy Season 2, but that's all going to be released on the same day. And we do have Visions Volume 3, which is all also going to be released on the same day. So there's only 2 more days of the year that have Star Wars content being released. However, 2026, as we just talked about, is jam-packed. And D23, at least in the past, has been the place where trailers drop. I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 2021. Could have been 2022. Somebody fact check me in the chat. But I think it was 2021. In 2021, we got the trailers at D23 for Mandalorian Season 3, Mandalorian Season 3, The Bad Batch Season 2, and Ahsoka? And Andor. And one other one, too. Oh, Tales of the Jedi. We got 4 trailers. 4 trailers at D23. I think it was 2021. Might have been 2022. But 4 trailers at D23. So this, at least historically, has been where these trailers have been released. So if Maul Shadow Lord is going to release in January or February or March of 2026, this event will be where the first trailer drops. Maybe it's a teaser trailer, maybe not. We know for a fact that there's already a trailer ready to go, the same way we know for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, there's already a trailer ready to go, because they were both shown at Star Wars Celebration, just not publicly, even though we've all probably seen them. Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen the Maul trailer, the Shadow Lord trailer. Because although it wasn't released publicly at Star Wars Celebration, it got leaked out there, and a lot of us have seen it. I've seen it like 1,000 times. But tell me in the chat if you've seen it. So hopefully that will get released publicly so we can watch it over and over and over and over and over and over again. But this is supposed to be the biggest Disney fan event of the year. So that means Star Wars, but also Marvel and Pixar and anything else. For Marvel, I'm sure, I think there's another show coming out this year, but I could be wrong. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. Maybe even Ahsoka Season 2 gets some sort of announcement at D23, but let's take a look. Now that Andor is over, Lucasfilm will likely use D23 as an opportunity to turn the focus to their future projects, including the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Ahsoka Season 2, Star Wars Starfighter, and Maul Shadow Lord. Oh, and the Rey movie, and James Mangold's on the jet. Bits of information about all these projects can be expected, but it's unlikely that there will be any footage for most of them. Not all, but most. With that being said, Lucasfilm won't leave Star Wars fans entirely disappointed. So we can expect to see some new content. This might be the reason why we didn't get any public trailers at Star Wars Celebration. D23 might be the reason. Because they were like, okay, these projects, Shadow Lord, Mandalorian, and Grogu, they don't come out until 2026. We have a D23 in August. Let's just wait to release these trailers until August. Makes sense to me. Here are 5 of the most probable Star Wars updates that fans can expect next month at D23. First and foremost, Maul Shadow Lord. A teaser trailer or an actual official trailer. Maul Shadow Lord was announced at Star Wars Celebration in Japan this year. According to StarWars.com, the series takes off right after the Clone Wars as Maul plots to rebuild his criminal syndicate on the planet untouched by the Empire, likely Dathomir. Sam Witwer will return. Sam Witwer will return. That's a lot of W's. Sam Witwer will return as the voice of Darth Maul. And although the show is set to release next year, it's not too early for a teaser trailer. Like I mentioned before, back in 2021, I think, we got to see a teaser trailer for Mandalorian Season 3, which didn't come out until March of the following year, and The Bad Batch Season 2 or 3, which didn't come out until February of the following year. So they've done this before. This is not something new. So if I were a gambling man, this would be the trailer I think we'd see the most at D23. Any footage from Saddle Lord will give fans an idea of the other Star Wars characters who could feature in the show. As we know, Darth Talon is a likely possibility there. Rook casts, shout out to you guys, is also going to be in it. Marok, and hopefully some others. With Maul's links to everyone from the Sith to the Jedi to the bounty hunters to the underworld, you can expect to see anyone in that series. And get ready to be surprised. It's the bad guys versus the worst guys. So that'll be really, really cool. Number 2 on this list, they got Star Wars Starfighter, at least an update for it, because this begins filming this fall. Production on Sean Levy's and Ryan Gosling's Starfighter begins this fall in September, actually, is when they start filming. With Mia Goth set to play a pivotal role in the movie, she was announced to be the villain of the movie. Starfighter was announced at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, just like Maul, and it seems to be on track for a release of May 2027. So not next year, the following year. Footage from it isn't possible at this stage because they haven't started filming yet, but there may be an exclusive casting update at D23 or some additional new news about the project's announcement. So maybe they'll walk out on stage with like Mia Goth or something. I'm not too sure, but there could be some big updates there. Number 3, updates on the Rey movie and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi. I think we're going to get the big update that the Dawn of the Jedi will come out before the Rey movie. The Rey movie needs all the help it can get. We've talked about this before. The sequel trilogy is very divided. The character of Rey herself is, divisive to say the least. So a Dawn of the Jedi movie would probably do a lot better. But filming on the Rey movie, which will reportedly focus on Rey's quest to rebuild a new Jedi Order, hasn't started yet. The Rey movie and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie are both under development, and it would be great if Lucasfilm could provide a positive update for both of these highly anticipated projects. Frequently updating fans is a good way to maintain interest and optimism, especially as these projects take years to develop. We can't think of a better place than D23 to announce any updates for those two projects. It's going to be a update fest for a lot of these projects. But an exclusive Ahsoka Season 2 sneak peek. I think this is much like Star Wars Celebration, where it didn't get released publicly. I think the people in attendance in Orlando, Florida, for D23 will get a sneak peek at Ahsoka Season 2. Because they've been filming it since May, maybe even April of this year. So they'll have some sort of footage to be ready to go for the people in attendance. Ahsoka Season 2 is currently filming in London with actor Rosario Dawson, Iman Esfandi, Ivana Sakno, and Natasha Liu Bordizzo. See, I'm really bad at names, but when it comes to the Ahsoka cast, I'm just like boom, 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 boom. You know? So I guess it's not just the Ahsoka cast, but yeah, reprising their roles. Filming started after Star Wars Celebration Japan, so it's been nearly 3 months now. Although it might be too soon, we're keeping our fingers crossed that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are at the event. Well, they're definitely going to be at the event, but with an exclusive clip or at least a behind-the-scenes picture from the upcoming season. Maybe Abaloth? I mean, if we're lucky. Fans need all the content that they can get, as this show won't be released until sometime in 2026, and this is likely to be way later in 2026, as we've already talked about before. All right, first official trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So it's likely we're going to get updates for all these other projects, but the two likely trailers are Maul Shadow Lord in The Mandalorian and Grogu. We are now 10 months away, just about 10 months away from The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. No teaser trailer. Next month will be 9 months away from The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And D23 would be the perfect spot to give us the first official teaser trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It would be insane. It would blow up the internet, especially if it's a really good trailer. But as they say here, this is a big one.
This is where the fun begins.
The Mandalorian and Grogu completed production months ago, actually in December, so 7 months ago, and will release on May 22nd, 2026. It means we are roughly 10 months out from the next Star Wars movie. So this might be the best time for Lucasfilm to turn its focus to The Mandalorian yet again. Disney has been focused on promoting Marvel's Fantastic Four movie, as The Mandalorian and Grogu is the first Star Wars movie since it's the first Star Wars movie since The Rise of Skywalker in 2019, they would be wise to start promotion early, very early. It's a Star Wars movie, so people are going to go watch it anyway. But if it's a really good movie, it has the opportunity to make billions upon billions of dollars in the box office. And honestly, because it's been 6.5 years since the last Star Wars movie, you're going to want to catch people's attention and go, look, you remember The Mandalorian? You remember the cute little green alien monster thing from that show, Grogu, who you guys like to call Baby Yoda? Yeah, he's coming to the big screen. You're not going to want to miss that. So here's a trailer. They should really start the promotion as soon as possible, and D23 is, again, the perfect time for that. But as much as it seems reasonable to expect a teaser or a first official trailer, keep in mind that Disney has screened footage from the movie to various events, including Star Wars Celebration earlier this year. That footage was not officially released by Disney. But this might be a good time to put out Mando content, as it's been quite a while since fans have been able to see the clan of two together. Mando Season 3 ended when, chat? When did The Mandalorian Season 3 end? If The Mandalorian comes out before Ahsoka Season 2, will Thrawn be in Mando? I hope Thrawn's in Mando, but even if he's not, I think his presence will be felt across the entire movie. It's going to be like Thanos. Thrawn is the blue Thanos of the Star Wars universe. So the same way that Thanos isn't in Avengers 1, but at the very end, he picks up the gauntlet and goes, fine, I'll do it myself. I think that's what we're going to see with Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't know who Loki's going to be. I don't know who the Chitauri army's going to be for this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But maybe Din and Grogu take down some sort of Imperial warlord. Maybe one of the Shadow Council members. And that's a very difficult task. But when they get it done, it's like, yay, they won. But then we realize that there's a way bigger threat. And that's Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's also a possibility that Din and Grogu take a massive L. Like an enormous L. In this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And that L would come to Thrawn to establish not only to the broader audience, the normie fans, if you will, that Thrawn is a villain and a good one. So that's a possibility too. Thrawn could be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie as a big old setup to be a badass. Yeah. April 19th, 2023 was the last episode of Mando Season 3. Okay, wow. So it's been over 2 years, well over 2 years, since we've last seen Din and Grogu. So yeah, we got to get these guys fresh in people's minds again so that we're ready for the movie. Yeah. Okay, D23 takes place from August 29th to August 31st. So this is what we're looking for. Just over a month from now, this is going to be the event that you don't want to miss. This is going to be possibly a Mandalorian trailer, possibly a Maul Shadow Lord trailer, and updates for all these other Star Wars projects. Ahsoka Season 2, Rey movie, Dawn of the Jedi movie, Starfighter. It's all going to be, as they put it here, the biggest biggest Disney fan event of the year, because it's not just Star Wars, it's Marvel, it's all of it. So that's going to be pretty damn huge. And the most likely trailer is still Shadow Lord. As much as I'd love to see a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, Maul is closer and further along. So it's highly likely that we get this trailer at D23. Which is pretty awesome. Which is pretty damn cool. Thrawn is more like a Loki. Yeah, but then who's Thanos? You know? Who's Thanos? He's the big blue meanie. He's the big purple meanie. Well, if The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be the beginning of a new trilogy, then it will work a lot like Marvel, where the first movie establishes a big threat, and that is Thanos. He's pulling the strings from behind the scenes. And the first movie will establish Thrawn as a big threat. You see Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy. You're going to see Thrawn in Ahsoka Season 2. Then come around to the next one, you're going to see, maybe it skips Ultron and goes straight to Infinity War, where Thrawn's going to be the big main character. He's going to get a bunch of wins together. He's going to beat the good guys. And then the final movie of the trilogy is Thrawn losing to the whole gang. The portal scene from Marvel will happen in Star Wars, where we get Din Djarin, Grogu, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han, Mon Mothma, the Ghost crew. I guess the whole Ghost crew, Ezra, Sabine, Hera, all of them. Maybe even Ahsoka comes back from Peridia. Maybe Cal Kestis. Maybe Marin. Maybe Omega comes. Maybe Asajj Ventress comes. It's going to be the Avengers Assemble type moment from Endgame. At least, I hope so. Oh my God. Okay, fine. Thrawn is Loki, and Sid is Thanos. That works for me. Vader is Thanos. Well, Vader is dead. So he can't really be, Cobb Vanth. Yes, Cobb Vanth would be there too. What happened to Cobb Vanth? Well, he got shot in an epic showdown between him and Cad Bane. But he did survive that. We see him in the Bacta tank at the end of the Book of Boba Fett. So Cobb Vanth does live, which is great. Yeah. You want Padme to return? Well, your dreams may come true. Your dreams may come true. We'll just put it at that. Abaloth could be the Thanos. That's possible. That is possible. Much like Loki. Oh, interesting. Oh, that got me excited. Much like Thrawn could be Loki, and Loki becomes a good guy and helps fight against Thanos. Maybe that happens in Star Wars. Because Thrawn's goals, or at least his motivations in Legends and in canon, are to protect his people. He's not trying to take control of the galaxy for his own just heck of it. He's doing it for his people, to protect his people. Now he's gone to a different galaxy for 11 years. And in that different galaxy, he's trying to get the hell out of there as soon as possible. In Ahsoka Season 1, one of the biggest things that's evident that many people miss is that Thrawn is running, sprinting as fast as he can to get off that planet when everybody arrives. Because he knows that something is there. That something might just be Abaloth. And the reason he's going to try to take over the whole galaxy is to protect his people and the rest of the galaxy from this threat. Meaning, maybe Thrawn's not such a bad guy. Maybe he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. Maybe he knows that something more, stronger, more powerful is out there. Now that would be pretty crazy. If The Mandalorian and Grogu sets up Thrawn as the villain, the second movie in the trilogy with Dave Filoni is the heir to the Empire, and Thrawn is still the villain. But we come to find out that there's a bigger threat, and that is Abaloth. That would be pretty wild. The problem is with that story, how is that not brought up in the sequel trilogy? If not only Thrawn comes in as the heir to the Empire, but Abaloth, a Mortis freaking god, pretty much a Mortis god. The mother. If she comes in and absolutely just destroys, or not destroys everything, but takes over and is this huge threat, how is that not mentioned in the sequel trilogy? I can get Thrawn not being mentioned because, yeah, he's just a remnant of the Empire, you know? He's a next attempt. Now, maybe Snoke could come along, and that's why it's not mentioned. The First Order rises to power, and that's more prevalent. But you don't think at any point Luke would have been like, oh, yeah, I fought this crazy squid-looking girl who was ridiculously powerful, pretty much a god, at any point? The reason I think that Abaloth is being set up for a post-sequel story is for that and that alone. I think because if she comes to the main Star Wars galaxy before the sequel trilogy, then her not being mentioned in the sequel trilogy is a little crazy. Yeah. Thrawn is like the Silver Surfer of Star Wars because he only wants to protect his own planet. That's actually a pretty good one too. He is like the Silver Surfer. You don't think that somehow Darth Vader could return like Palpatine? I mean, no. They could have made a clone of Vader, maybe, but it wouldn't be Anakin. Well, I mean, it would. It would be a clone version of Anakin. But we know that Anakin's a Force ghost, and we know that Anakin's still a Force ghost because he was just in Ahsoka. Yeah. I have an idea. Maybe the World Between Worlds Ahsoka wipes everyone's memory of Abaloth in the First Order, or Palpatine is releasing her again. What? I don't think that's how the World Between Worlds is going to work. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Thrawn was trying to gear up the galaxy for a bigger threat. Well, that's what I love. In Legends, there's a story. Now, I forget. There's so many different offshoots of Legends. But there's a story where Palpatine's real goal for making the Death Stars and making the entire empire that controls the entire galaxy, having outposts on every planet possible, was because he knew of a threat, and that threat being the Yuuzhan Vong. So he knew that there was a threat coming. And that's why he had to take over the entire galaxy, and it almost makes Palpatine look like the good guy because he's trying to keep safe the entire galaxy. That story could be adapted into canon using Grand Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn might be trying to take over the entire galaxy because he wants to protect it from whatever the hell he saw on Peridia. And that would just be so cool. It would add this cool context, I guess, to your villain. It would add something that we'd never seen before. Vader is just evil. Palpatine is just evil. Thrawn would have a reason. He would have a purpose for taking over the galaxy, and it would honestly make you think like maybe he's right. Maybe he should take over the whole galaxy so that he can help protect from Abaloth. It's like all the people who were saying that Thanos was right. That's a little crazy, but maybe Thrawn is right. Yeah. Exactly. Anthony says, Mike, we are both literally drinking from the exact same Mando cup. Wait, what? We are kindred spirits. I'm sipping British tea. You? I'm drinking water, but... Oh, you mean... Oh, okay. I was like, this is clones, but there's Mandalorians on this too. True. Yeah. What if the new father of the Mortis gods, Anakin, wipes everyone's memory from Abaloth? That's just way too big of a power to have. To be able to wipe everybody's minds? That would be ridiculous. Yeah, no. The World Between Worlds could work as a teleportation method, kinda. Well, the way I see it is every time the World Between Worlds has been used, the person who goes in has to come out in the same location, at least from what we've seen. When Ahsoka gets pulled by Ezra on Malachor 5, she has to re-exit on Malachor 5. That was made on purpose. When Ezra enters on Lothal, he has to re-exit on Lothal. When Ahsoka enters on that planet, I'm blanking on now. What's the planet in Ahsoka where her and Balin fight it out? Somebody help me on the chat. What the hell's that name? When they fight it out and she falls off the cliff, when she comes back to the real world, she's in the water right at the bottom of that cliff, or right off the side, off the coast of that cliff. So I don't think it's a teleportation device. You have to come out where you go in. Cetos, thank you. Yes, Cetos. But we don't really know the full capacity and full power of the World Between Worlds. Honestly, I hope we don't see it at all in season 2. It should be something that's so underutilized so that when it does get used, it's like a big thing, you know? Abaloth can connect minds across space and time. Yes, in Legends. Again, we don't know how powerful she's going to be in canon. She can probably get inside of people's heads, but and probably across space, yes, but across time? I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Anakin, Ahsoka, Abaloth, the father, the daughter, and the mother. Well, as much as I would love Anakin to be the mother, I mean...
I got a bad feeling about this.
Incorrect.
As much as I would love Anakin to be the father, Nick from Star Wars Jedi Podcast brought this up to me, and it's a great point. And I see Ron in the chat. What's up, Ron? It's a great point. The Mortis gods are living beings. They die. They all die in the Mortis arc. So in order to be a Mortis god, you have to be alive. And Anakin is not. So maybe he's serving his purpose as the father in the afterlife somehow, some way. But he's not alive. So he's not a Mortis god. He doesn't have the capabilities of doing what the father could have done. Does that make sense? Because he's not alive. He's dead. We know that for a fact. So I don't think Anakin is the father. I honestly don't think they're going to do the Mortis gods like one for one like that anyway. But we'll see. We shall see. Mike, based off of Dave Filoni's statements, the World Between Worlds seems to be a realm of knowledge and history, especially spiritual, emotional, and force related. Yes, I think, well, the way I look at it is Palpatine's line from Rebels. It's a conduit between the living and the dead. It's a way for the living and the dead to almost overlap. It's a world where they both can coexist in a way. So that's why when Anakin fights Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds, it makes sense because that's a conduit between the living and the dead. They're both technically alive in that world while they're there. Yeah. Isn't the bird just an evolved version of the daughter? And the Force Ghosts are really dead if they can. Are the Force Ghosts really dead if they can sit on logs? Dan the man, you asked some pretty solid questions. Not only can Force Ghosts sit on logs, but Luke can grab a lightsaber out of the air in The Rise of Skywalker. So maybe you're right. Maybe Force Ghosts aren't technically dead, but they die. I don't even know anymore. See, that's why the Force Ghosts need a lot of explanation. I think a Kenobi Season 2, which we've been talking about the last couple of months here, would make a lot of sense. Because it would allow us to get a lot of answers. Yeah. But did he access the did he access and change the World Between Worlds? We saw him take Ahsoka back to the Clone Wars. What if that was a glimpse of his power? You got a point there. Anakin in the World Between Worlds is able to send Ahsoka back in her past memories. But that's all in her head. I don't even know. This stuff is so complicated and unexplained. It could have us talking about this for hours, which we pretty much are right now. I thought the Force Ghost could interact with some things, but not everything. Interesting. Oh my God. Their meat packages die?
I got a bad feeling about this.
What? What are we even talking about anymore? Okay. I view it as a place between space and time where all threads meet. Interesting. So like Attack on Titan? Interesting. You bring up a good point because when Ezra goes into the world between worlds, he sees past events. He sees Ahsoka die, which happened 2 seasons before. He sees his master die, Kanan, which happened episodes before. Ah! This is chaos. This is chaos. Dave Filoni, if you're watching, start typing. We need some answers. We need some answers. Well, Mike, it's worth noting that the entire time Ahsoka was in the World Between Worlds in the series, regardless of her various ages, she was still 45 years old in the ocean. What do you mean? Well, it's her memories. So, like, when she goes back to being a child in the Clone Wars, it's still her memories. So that doesn't change anything. Like Obi-Wan said in Return of the Jedi, if you kill me, I'll become more powerful than you've ever imagined. Maybe that's what we see Anakin as in Ahsoka. Oh, great point, Fearless. Yeah, because when Obi-Wan is like, kill me, Vader. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll be more powerful than you could have ever imagined. What does that mean? I thought the World Between Worlds was more of a metaphorical thing in her head, whereas Ezra found the physical entrance. You're all making fantastic points right now, okay? Fantastic points. It is kind of in her head because she doesn't enter a portal like Ezra does. But maybe Anakin pulls her through because Ahsoka doesn't enter a portal either when Ezra saves her. So maybe Ezra pulls her through to the World Between Worlds much like Anakin does in Ahsoka. Yeah. Anybody else's brain just fried now? Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bumper. Ahsoka fell into the World Between Worlds. Remember the water? Yes, but she... In Rebels, Ahsoka never enters the World Between Worlds. She is pulled in by Ezra Bridger. Ezra enters the World Between Worlds. Okay? So if Ezra can pull Ahsoka in, then in theory, couldn't Anakin do the same thing? And wouldn't Anakin be able to do the same thing forever? And then you have to bring up the fact that Qui-Gon couldn't appear to Obi-Wan until Obi-Wan was ready. So maybe the ability to appear as a Force ghost is only possible when you're trained stronger with the Force. Think about it this way. Luke Skywalker can't see Obi-Wan as a Force ghost in A New Hope, but in Empire, after a little bit more training, he can. And then come Return of the Jedi, and when he trains with Yoda, he can easily see Obi-Wan. When he cuts himself off from the Force on Ahch-To, he can't see any Force ghosts, but when he reconnects with the Force, when he fights versus Rey, he can then see a Yoda Force ghost. Are you with me still? So I think the ability to see a Force ghost, maybe even the ability to enter the World Between Worlds, you have a lot of training. I mean, obviously, to open up the door to the World Between Worlds, Ezra needed a lot of training to do so. But even the ability to see a Force ghost takes training. No random person. Like what if Luke was on Hoth and saw Obi-Wan's Force Ghost in front of him, and Han Solo is sitting right next to him, Han wouldn't see that. Actually, he doesn't, because Han comes riding up on the Tauntaun right after it, and he didn't see this Force Ghost standing in the snow. This is a lot. How do we even get onto this? We were talking about Maul Shadow Lord. What happened here, chat? I thought Thrawn was Thanos. Anakin is going to train Ahsoka in Season 2 one last time. But isn't that what Ahsoka Season 1 was? The one last lesson? To help her get through the World Between Worlds and help her return to the galaxy and help save it. It's not a teleportation device, though. Is it? But she's not going to go save the galaxy. She's trying to save this world from Abaloth. Then how was Han a Force Ghost in the sequels? That's also not the case. That's showing Leia's power, because Leia sends a Force vision across the galaxy to Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, to show him his father. Gets inside of his head and shows him a vision of his father. This is crazy. Han was not a Force Ghost physically there. That was Leia. Maybe the seriousness or urgency of a moment allows Force Ghost's abilities. Maybe, but then... You also got to think about when when Obi-Wan appears to Luke in the original trilogy. He appears when he needs him most, tap into the Force to kill the Death Star. He appears when he just tapped into the Force to kill the Wampa in the cave. And Yoda appears to Luke when he needs him most, because he tells him that what he needs to do, which is Force protect himself across the entire galaxy and save the rebellion or the resistance or whatever the hell you want to call it. Mike, we're on to something. Only Force sensitives can see Force ghosts. True. Through the High Republic, the Nameless are seen as horrible, blurred beings by the Jedi. Others saw them fully. Oh, yes, because they have Force abilities. True. True. The ships are gone. The whales are gone, too. Unless she waits there for the next pod of whales to come back, she's not getting home. True, but Ezra has the ability to communicate with the whales. That's the thing. Like, he's able to have those whales take him and Thrawn to a different galaxy. I think if Ahsoka really wants to come home, she can. But I don't think she wants to come home. I think her purpose, which she says at the end of Season 1, is to stay there. What is the first thing that Anakin says to Ahsoka when she enters the World Between Worlds? Hey, Snips? I believe. I do believe. And Rey is pretty much just a vessel for all the previous Jedi, hence why she was able to beat Krusty Palpatine. Well, that was Palpatine actually at his peak, because he stole the powers of the Dyad of the Force. And he electrocutes all the ships in the sky. Oh, yes, that's the first thing. He says, hey, Snips first, but then he says, I didn't expect to see you so soon. Interesting. Ahsoka also has the ability to communicate to the Purgle, but she has to like go right up to one, and she doesn't even know what it's saying. Like, Ezra has that ability to communicate with animals. It's a specific Force ability. I'm blanking on the name right now. Yeah. I never understood the Rey being all the Jedi thing. I think a lot of that had to do with... Yeah, I don't know. It needs a lot of explanation too. What happens if the whales are way across the galaxy? I don't know. I didn't expect to see you so soon. Beast control. Yes, thank you. Beast control. Anakin had beast control. True. They see it in the Clone Wars, actually, too. Sabine and Ezra are back in our galaxy. Ahsoka is stuck there where Ezra was. No, Sabine's with her. But I could see Sabine getting home. I just think that Anakin's going to stay. I mean, Ahsoka's going to stay there. Yeah. Okay, we have some other stuff we got to talk about here today. Some pretty groundbreaking things that we got completely off topic here. So I don't know if we just pull the plug from this crazy conversation we're having and just go to this other thing. It doesn't really connect at all. It could connect to Ahsoka Season 2, maybe. But Star Wars Nerd, what's up? How we doing? We can come back to the whole Force Ghost thing because we'll talk about it for the rest of the time because there's no explanation. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So we talked Shadow Lord and somehow got all the way to Force Ghosts in the World Between Worlds. And by the way, that conversation we just had is why Ahsoka Season 2 and I guess the future of the Mandoverse is going to be so good because of that. Like those ideas, those deep concepts of the Force itself are things that George Lucas loved and things that Dave Filoni loves and the things that I love personally, and I know a lot of you do too. So that's the really cool stuff that we're going to get to see for Ahsoka Season 2 and beyond. But with that being said, we got something very, very, very important to talk about here. This just popped up on my feed today. Take a look at this. There is something secret going on at Lucasfilm right now, and we think, or I think, we found something here. Wait, what? Where did this go? Did I not save this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right, whatever. Do you guys remember? Give me a 1 into the chat if you remember this. About a month or two ago, we were talking about Katie Sackhoff when she posted a picture of her recording something secret. She said, I'm recording something new that I think you guys will really love. Do you guys remember that? She was holding a script. We tried to flip it backwards and tried to decode it. Any of you guys remember that? Well, now the plot thickens. We were wondering if that was going to be a possible Tales of the Mandalorian or possibly Bo-Katan being in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie and she was doing voiceover work, or maybe even Ahsoka Season 2 doing voiceover work, or maybe even Maul Shadow Lord doing voiceover work. So that was a big deal at the time. Now, things got a lot more interesting. Anna Graves. Does anybody know who Anna Graves is? Tell me in the chat. Anna Graves posted this on her Instagram. My happy place. Choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Thoughts of every voice actor, #voice acting. Now, this doesn't give us too much information. I mean, you can't really tell what's going on the screens over here. You can't tell who's in the booth behind her. You can't tell much of anything, except for the fact that she's recording something. So I can see in the chat, a lot of you don't know who this is. Anna Graves is the voice actress most known for her role as voicing Duchess Satine, Mandalorian leader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's love interest in the Clone Wars, and Princess Leia. Now, granted, actually, let me see if I can find her Wikipedia instead of just a Wikipedia. Anna Graves, Star Wars. Yeah, here we go. Much better. Oh, she voices a... Okay, yeah. Here we go. So, in 2010, Graves began voice acting for the Clone Wars series as Satine. Oh, wait, she also voices this character here. So she's the voice of Satine. Now, this gives more evidence to the fact that we could be getting a Tales of the Mandalorian or some sort of Mando story. Satine is dead. We know that for a fact. However, the character who killed her is Maul. And Maul Shadow Lord, which we talked about for a good solid hour or more, is one of the next Star Wars projects. So it seems like Either we're getting a flashback to Maul killing Satine, which seems highly unlikely in the Maul Shadow Lord series, or we're getting a new story with Satine. Now, I mean, I guess she could come back as a bounty hunter, maybe? This bounty hunter? That seems way less likely. Satine is a far more important character. But, having said that, what if we're not talking about Satine here, but Princess Leia? Now, there's been all these talks about Princess Leia coming back to live action. Obviously, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is a possibility. Ahsoka Season 2. We had the possibility to see her in Ahsoka Season 1, but we got C-3PO instead. We've gotten Luke Skywalker already, but Mark Hamill came back to do it, and Carrie Fisher's no longer with us, so it's very hard to do that. But we have seen Leia, and we've seen deepfaked Leia in Rogue One. So what if this right here is using a voice for Leia? She once voiced Leia Organa, and using that voice in a data bank of Carrie Fisher's voices, combining those voices to create a artificially created voice of Princess Leia. Where that could be, I'm not too sure, but that seems like the more likely possibility here. I did see somebody say Satine and Obi-Wan story, perhaps. Maybe, and that could be a Tales of the Mandalorian type thing. We have been getting a Tales for the last 2 straight years. We've gotten 3 Tales stories over 4 years, because Tales of the Jedi was in 2021. Tales of the Empire was 2023, and Tales of the Underworld, or no, 2024. And Tales of the Underworld was 2023? 5, whatever. Maybe Jedi was 2022. Either way, we've gotten 3 Tales stories, Jedi, Empire, and Underworld. It seems pretty likely that the next one could be a Mandalorian one. And who better to focus on than Satine, the love interest for Obi-Wan, maybe getting some sort of backstory to that love interest story, and Bo-Katan. I mean, when you talk about Mandalorians, there's really no other name that comes to mind other than Bo-Katan. I mean, there's other names that come to mind, but she's the one. You would think of Din Djarin, of course. You'd think of Sabine Wren, too. But Bo-Katan has the most amount of story told, from the Clone Wars to Rebels to The Mandalorian and beyond. So if you're going to do a Tales of the Mandalorian and you're focusing on 2 characters, and those 2 characters are Bo-Katan and Satine, that'd be a pretty damn great story. Tales of the Jedi was 2022? Okay. That makes more sense. So Ahsoka Season 2? Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I really don't know. Her main voice that she's done before is Satine. She's done other ones. She did that. She's done Leia. She's done this bounty hunter, Sunji, and Rummy. Sunji and Rummy. This character right there. Wow, Satine was in a lot of episodes. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get the Obi-Wan's child story that everybody wants to see. Imagine that. Imagine they gave us a Tales of the Mandalorians with Satine and maybe Bo-Katan, and they told us that, for real, what's the kid's name in the Clone Wars? Her nephew? What if they actually told us that her nephew was her and Obi-Wan's child? How crazy would that be? Corky, yes. Imagine that's actually their child. Because then the question would be, where the hell is this kid? Where is he now? Obi-Wan actually has a child? All right, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. I see a bunch of you saying, yes, this is a great idea. Let's end this last poll. Oh, wow. I haven't looked at this poll yet. 40% of you say you're most excited for Ahsoka Season 2. Kind of have to agree with that. 33% say Maul Shadow Lord. 19% say The Mandalorian and Grogu, and 6% say other. So, pretty spread, but Ahsoka takes the lead there. Okay. Do you actually think, what's his name? Corky Kreese? What is their last name? Satine. Oh, yeah. Is Obi-Wan's son? Yes or no? Yes or no? It'd certainly make a lot of Star Wars fans happy if Corgi was Obi-Wan and Satine's son. At least that Obi-Wan still exists in a galaxy besides Obi-Wan Kenobi's long-lost brother. That's true, too, the long-lost brother. Whenever it comes to a related character to Obi-Wan, fans really like to latch onto that. When The Force Awakens came out, so many people thought that Rey was a Kenobi because, well, when she touches the lightsaber, you hear Obi-Wan say, Rey, these are your first steps. But they just want more Kenobis. And Obi-Wan's a fan favorite character, so somehow, some way, getting to see his lineage continue will be pretty damn cool. Now, sadly, this kid, wherever he may be, his mom died to Darth Maul, and his dad died to Vader, and he's probably got no home because Mandalore has been turned to glass. So he's, having a good time. He's living a rough life over there, wherever he is. Yeah. I would say no because he gets so mad about Anakin kissing Padme. True. I mean, Obi-Wan is a very serious Jedi, but you can't deny that in the Clone Wars, the relationship between Satine and Obi-Wan is very strong. And they talk about this time where they were together and on some planet, I forget which one, and Obi-Wan says, Satine, if you asked me to leave the order for you, I would have said yes. Something along those lines. So maybe a young Obi-Wan made some mistakes, or maybe to some of you, some great decisions, and, had a child with Satine. Possibly. Or, what I think would be even better is if they were bringing back Anna Graves to voice Leia or help create the voice of Leia. Because if she has a really good voice for Princess Leia, and they can use the Carrie Fisher stuff on her voice too to make it better, sound more like Leia, then maybe they're trying to bring back Leia's voice for some sort of role in the near future, which would be even crazier. Yeah. Let's face it. We wanted Rey to be the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi and the daughter or the daughter of Luke Skywalker. The audiences would have loved it, and Rey would have been loved. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Can't really deny that one. Vader didn't kill Obi-Wan? Pretty sure he did. Mike, what's your favorite Star Wars character? Well, number 1 for me is Anakin / Vader. Number 2 is Ahsoka / Ahsoka. And number 3 is Darth Maul. So the fact that Maul is getting his own show next year, and Ahsoka and Anakin will both be in Ahsoka Season 2 next year, it's got me pretty excited. It's got me a little bit excited. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. Obi-Wan just disappeared from Anakin's blade when he struck his robes. Yes. Okay. Mike, who's your least favorite Star Wars character? Try and guess. Least favorite Star Wars character. See, I'm not a hater for characters because I like crap on actors or anything stupid like those people do. I hate characters for good reason, you know? For great reason. Actually. Yeah. Exactly. Everyone's least favorite character. Am I right, chat? Yeah. Obi-Wan let go of the Force and let Vader kill him because he wanted to become one with the Force like Yoda. True, but Yoda did it after. Luke and Han for me for favorite characters. I'm a true fan. Well, I mean, sure. I don't doubt that you're a true fan, but just because Luke and Han are your favorite characters doesn't make you a true fan. I don't know, chat. What's everybody's least favorite Star Wars character? Tell me in the chat. Least favorite Star Wars character. We'll do favorite after. Let's start with least favorite. Least favorite. Sid did nothing wrong. What? Least favorite Star Wars character to start. Let's go there. It's funny that Mike's top 3 favorite characters aren't even in my top 5. Wow. Anakin, Ahsoka, and Maul aren't in your top 5? Holy crap. Now I really want to hear that top 5. All right, now tell me your favorite character. Top 3. Give me top 3. Top 3 characters. I see some Sids. Sand is your least favorite character? That's crazy. Hux? Okay, not bad. The twins in the Acolyte. Okay. May and Osha. Number 1's got to be Sid. Jar Jar. Oh, okay. Watto. All right. Okay. Maybe that one Imperial from Andor season 2. That's a good one. The one, yeah, from the first arc in season 2. Hate that guy too. Yeah. That's a good one. All right, let's go. Favorite characters. Favorite characters, chat. Let's see it. Din Djarin. Nice. 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 Han, R2, and Vader. Solid list. Ahsoka, Anakin, Maul. I like that list. Darth Jar Jar. Okay. Ahsoka and Balin. Balin's in the top 3. I like that. I like all bad guys. That's okay. Bad guys are great, especially in Star Wars. Leia, Ahsoka, and Luke. Solid. Ahsoka, Anakin, Luke. Nice. Yoda. Nice. Yoda, Ahsoka, and R2. Solid. The rodent from the Acolyte. Nice. Basil. Gotta love some Basil. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rey. Nice. That's a high praise for Rey right there. Mon Mothma became top 5 after Andor. That's what I like to hear. Except for when I went on that crazy rant about how Mon Mothma's not that great a character. But then, you know, we don't have to talk about that. Honorable mention is Chimere. Chimere's in my top 10 for sure. Not the top 3, but he's in my top 10. Yeah. Yeah. Anakin, Mando, and Darth Vader. Nice. Nice. Maul, Hera, and Obi-Wan. Hera shoutouts. That's nice. Hera. Wedge and Telly's. Nice. Okay. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Sorry. Who the heck is Corey? See, this is the best because we put up this poll. We put up this poll in the chat of, and Jared just pops into the stream and goes, "Who the hell is Corky Chris?" That's so good. Okay, it's Obi-Wan's son. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's so good. Okay, let's end this poll then, just so we don't confuse any other newcomers to the stream. Darth Raccoon says Chopper because of his war crimes. Okay. K2SO and Kanan. Solid list. Do you think that Corgi is the son of Obi-Wan? 62% of you say no. All right, fine. 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 My least favorite character is As Morgan. Solid. I mean, he's a handsome fella, don't get me wrong, but, you know. Yeah. All right, we got some other stuff to talk about here in terms of The Mandalorian. This was posted for the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con. It's a limited edition 1,000, a one of 1,000 ever made, supposedly. It's a Mandalorian poster for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So we got the looking kind of broken down here, a Razor Crest behind them. We knew that a Razor Crest would be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We don't know if it's actually Din Djarin's or not, but there will be a Razor Crest. I think it's Zeb Orrelius's, but maybe Din, gets it from him. Maybe Zeb dies. Maybe Zeb's a goner. Actually, no, he has to survive till at least Ahsoka season 2. But honestly, it looks like they're amongst the clouds here. And what we talked about last stream was how they're going to be on Bespin, which is up in the clouds. But actually, there might be 2 suns here. Tatooine? Question mark? I don't know, but just a cool poster nonetheless. Grogu with his hands up, having a blast. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, we talked about this slightly on Thursday's live stream, but I want to talk about this again because this was more important than I gave it credit for. Hayden Christensen has dropped out of attending Comic-Con Manchester due to a late-night film shoot over the weekend. So Ahsoka Season 2 is currently in production in England, and Christensen is likely filming night scenes this weekend for the series. So it makes sense because he's a Force ghost. He's probably easier to see at night. But we can't really tell much of what this is going to be about. However, what he's filming, I guess. However, it's still really cool. We haven't really touched on this much since it was announced that Hayden Christensen is back for Anakin in Season 2. It just sort of got glossed over because of how crazy the announcements were for Season 2, how hyped up Dave Filoni got us, that Anakin was like a sort of afterthought. So, maybe World Between Worlds. Well, they do the World Between Worlds stuff inside, I don't know. I got the vibes from that poster. There's a Starman waiting in the sky. There's a Starman. Sorry. Waiting in the skies. Yeah. Just thrilled he's back. Oh, yeah. Nighttime Clone Wars flashback sequences? Maybe. Again, it's too hard to predict. It could be anything, really. Literally could be anything. Yeah. The leak said that it would be about Voss and Ventress being hired to receive Maul's nephew from being kidnapped. That's a lot of Knight brothers. I think they were true. What? What are you talking about? Officer Murdoch, what's up? How we doing? Anakin's going to go fight Sid and who? Gapper Bingzod in the War Between Worlds? Who the hell is that? Hang on. Gapper? Bingzod Star Wars. Let's see. Who the... Cat? Who the fuck is this? Let's this is our friend Gapper. He's a whimsical creature. He's in the Phantom Menace. I don't what? Okay, moving on. Who is Sid? Sid is the Trandoshan from the Bad Batch, the one who sells them out to the Empire. Yeah. So Hayden Christensen's filming night scenes. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. 7 years ago today, we got the return of the Clone Wars. It was announced with this epic trailer. So this was the first trailer released 7 years ago today for Clone Wars Season 7. Take a look at this.
The name's Rex, but you'll call me Captain or Sir. War does not come with a guarantee. No soldier gets the promise of safety. My designation is Trooper 27-5555, sir. We call him Fives. I'm Heavy. This is Echo. I'm Commander Cody, your new boss. Sir, yes, sir! Looks like we got ourselves a batch of shinies, Commander. Look around. We're one and the same. Same heart, same blood. Your training is in your blood. And my blood's boiling for a fight. So I hope any idea this is our war. This can't be good. We need to pull back. Get on the followers. If we can draw them out, we can see them. If we can see them, we can hit them.
All right, Rex. What's so important that you brought us all the way back here?
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
That's I haven't watched that trailer in years. Holy crap. Goosebumps, chat. Goosebumps! That's so good. Well, first of all, a lot of foreshadowing there with the whole helmets thing. I remember this, but I forgot about it. Because, I mean, by the end of Season 7, they have to hang all the helmets on the pikes because they all died. A little foreshadowing there. You hear the good soldiers follow orders over that, and then the music sets in, and it's... Oof. And then, of course, the return of Ahsoka Tano. Wow. Wow, I did not think it was going to be that good. I haven't watched that trailer in years. That's holy peak. Okay. Sorry. That was incredible. That's wild. So 7 years ago today. Wow, 7 years ago today that dropped. Clone Wars Season 7 came out in 2020. So 5 years ago. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. Well, this other thing, yes. I want to talk about this real quick. We talked about Mara Jade so much this week. Mara Jade features on newly released cover art for the Choice of One, the Essential Legends collection, and that is Mara Jade. You can see Palpatine's eyes back there with stormtroopers and stuff. Pretty cool. Pretty cool there. Okay, but is that everything I want to talk about? Yeah, that was it. Okay. I mean, that trailer makes me want to watch Clone Wars Season 7 again. All right, but Goosebumps. Goosebumps. You're rewatching Ahsoka right now? Almost finished? Nice. Got to rewatch Ahsoka, Clone Wars Season 7 after this? Me too. Me too. Okay, but I do have to get on out of here, so smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Gambling has been on this whole stream, by the way, and none of you gambled, so you gambling fiends have clearly calmed down. But I appreciate... Have you smashed a freaking like on this stream? Let's check. Am I going to be upset? 68! Oh my god! Come on, chat. Smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video. My pretty face will show up with the recommended feed of yours. I believe gambling is on, is it not? Oh, it is on. There you go. Yeah, I'll let you guys gamble for a little bit more. huge shout outs to Mr. Beckham, Honey Badger, and Darth Plagueis lives for the very generous super chats and memberships. Next week is the last week of the month, I believe, or maybe it's the following. Either way, we have a giveaway at the end of every month, so watch out for that. And yeah. Holy crap, that's a big gamble right there, Darth Raccoon. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a couple things here now. I'm going to hide something every live stream from here on out in the background of this live streaming set. It's not the biggest set in the world, so it's going to be something very small. But whoever finds it first, every live stream will be given 1,000 credits. Also, if you can guess my shirt before the live stream begins, if you haven't noticed yet, I only have like, I don't know, at most 10 Star Wars shirts that I rotate between. This is one of my faves. So if you guess my shirt before the live stream begins, I will also give you 1,000 credits. A few little incentive things to get the people going, before our live stream, get hyped up and figure it out. So watch out for little Easter eggs. Yes, little Easter eggs for the live streams, and you can win some credits. And credits will become very valuable soon. I'll just let you know on that. Very valuable soon. Okay, but until next time, smash a freaking like in this stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up. But until then, watch out for a short tonight. And yeah, may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. We got a lot of people with a lot of credits in this chat now. You guys watch so much. All you have to do to get credits is to just watch the live stream. So a lot of you might be sitting on some gold mines. But until next time, we'll keep the gambling on for next stream too and see if it gets too overcrowded, and then maybe we'll turn it off. But until next time, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.